Hi, I'm Charlotte. 10 years ago, I thought I had it all: a dream wedding, a loving husband, and plans for a perfect family. Now I realize I should have seen the red flags when James insisted his mom should live closer to us to help with the future grandkids. You're so lucky to have such a caring mother in law, everyone kept saying. Yeah, right. If they only knew. The real trouble started after Emma was born. Margaret showed up at the hospital before I even got into recovery. Oh, sweetie, you must be exhausted. Let me take care of everything. And she did. Every bottle, every diaper, every decision. James thought it was amazing. Mom raised 3 kids, babe. She knows what she's doing. When I tried nursing, she'd hover. Are you sure the baby's getting enough? Formula's more reliable. 2 weeks later, I gave up breastfeeding. Then came Noah. This time, Margaret practically moved in. Your children need consistency, Charlotte. Working mothers just can't provide that. My sister Sarah noticed first. Over coffee one morning. Hey, sis, when was the last time you made a parenting decision without checking with the queen bee first? I broke down right there in Starbucks. I can't even choose their clothes anymore. She buys everything, reorganizes their rooms, schedules their days. Girl, you need to set some boundaries, my best friend Rachel warned. This isn't normal. I tried. God, I tried. The kids need their own space, James. They should sleep in their own beds, not at your mom's house 3 nights a week. You're being ridiculous. Mom's helping us. Helping? She's taking over. She enrolled Emma in ballet without even asking us. Because you're always too busy with work. Someone has to make these decisions. It got worse when I found Margaret telling Emma that Mommy's just jealous because she doesn't know how to be a good mother like Grandma. That night, I confronted James. This has to stop. Your mother's undermining me with our kids. Stop being dramatic. You should be grateful. Grateful? She's stealing my children. Maybe if you were a more attentive mother, she wouldn't have to step in. I want boundaries, James. Real ones. Or we need to rethink this marriage. He laughed. Actually laughed. You want a divorce? Fine. Good luck explaining to a judge why you're trying to keep the kids from their grandmother. Who do you think they'll believe? The workaholic mom who's never there? Or the devoted grandmother who's raised them since day one? That's when I knew. This wasn't just about control anymore. This was war. And if James thought I would roll over and let Margaret have my children, they had no idea what I was capable of. I called Sarah that night. Remember that lawyer friend you mentioned? I need his number. Finally! I've been waiting for this call. Come over tomorrow. We need to make a plan. Looking back now, that was the moment everything changed. The moment I stopped being the perfect daughter-in-law and started being what I should have been all along. A mother protecting her cubs. The next morning, Sarah connected me with Dr. Peterson, a family therapist who specialized in parental alienation cases. Document everything. Voice recordings, text messages, photos. Even if it seems minor, write it down with dates and times. I started keeping a detailed log. It was shocking how much I'd normalized over the years. Grandma says you don't love us enough to stay home like she does, Emma mentioned during breakfast. Why do you think that, sweetie? Because you're always working. Grandma says that's why she has to be the real mommy. My hands shook as I typed that conversation into my phone. Dr. Peterson reviewed my growing evidence file during our weekly sessions. These are classic manipulation tactics. Your mother-in-law is systematically undermining your authority. The recordings were the hardest part. Margaret acted different when James was around, but I caught plenty when she thought no one was listening. Oh, poor dears. Mommy's missing another school event. Never mind. Grandma will always be here for you. Not like some people who put their jobs first. James got nastier with each boundary I tried to set. The kids are crying because you won't let them sleep over at Mom's. What kind of mother are you? One who wants to actually parent her own children. You're just bitter because they love her more than you. I didn't expect Tom, my father-in-law, to become my unexpected ally. He stopped by one afternoon when Margaret was watching the kids. Noah, darling, remember what Grandma told you about keeping our special secrets? About Mommy being mean to you? Tom froze in the doorway. I saw his face change as he listened to his wife coaching our 6-year-old. Later that night, he pulled me aside. How long has this been going on? Years. But James won't believe me. I've noticed things. Comments she makes. I thought I was imagining it. She's trying to turn my kids against me, Tom. He ran his hand through his hair, looking troubled. I'll talk to James. This isn't right. But James just got more defensive. Oh, great. Now you've got my dad involved in your paranoid delusions. They're not delusions. I have proof. Proof? You mean your secret recordings? Those little notes you're always typing in your phone? Real mature, Charlotte? Want to hear what your mother says when you're not around? How she tells our kids to keep secrets from me? You're pathetic. You know that? Making up lies about my mother because you can't handle that she's a better mother than you'll ever be. I smiled for the first time in weeks. Thanks, honey. That'll be great for the record, too. His face went pale when I pulled out my phone, the recording light blinking. You sneaky. Careful what you say next. Everything's documented now. I walked away as he sputtered threats, my heart pounding but my spine steel straight. Dr. Peterson was right. The truth was my best weapon. And I was just getting started. I was reviewing evidence with Sarah when the school called. Mrs. Wilson? Your mother-in-law is trying to pick up the children early. She's claiming it's for a family trip? My blood ran cold. I never authorized this. Don't release my kids. She has a signed note. It's forged. I'm calling the police. I sped to the school, Sarah right behind me. Margaret was arguing with the principal when we arrived. This is ridiculous. I'm their grandmother. We have plane tickets. To where exactly, Margaret? She spun around, face flushed. Not that it's any of your business, but we're going to visit my sister in Florida. For how long? 2 weeks. The kids need a proper spring break. Spring break isn't for another month. Try again. Tom appeared, looking grim. Margaret, what are you doing? Tom? Who called you? I did. Sarah stepped forward. After I saw the one-way tickets you booked. The principal's eyes widened. Margaret's mask finally cracked. You ungrateful little sneak. You've poisoned everyone against me, haven't you? Even my own husband. Show them who you really are, Margaret. Let everyone see. I'm trying to protect my grandchildren from an unfit mother. By kidnapping them? It's not kidnapping when you're family. James burst in wild-eyed. What's going on? Mom? Your wife is trying to keep me from taking the children on vacation. A one-way vacation she didn't tell anyone about, Tom said quietly. Sound familiar, son? Like when she tried to take you away during our divorce? Margaret went white. That was different. Was it? Because it looks exactly the same to me. You're all against me. I'm the only one who really loves these children. No, Margaret. I stepped closer. You love controlling these children. There's a difference. James, are you going to let her talk to me this way? James looked lost. Mom, did you really book one-way tickets? Oh, now you're questioning me too? Fine. If you want to side with this woman who's destroyed our family, go ahead. But don't come crying to me when she takes the kids and leaves you too. Actually, I pulled out divorce papers from my bag. That's not how this is going to work. You wouldn't dare. Watch me. Sarah, call your detective friend. I want to press charges for attempted kidnapping. You can't do this. James grabbed my arm. Remove your hand or assault charges will be next. I'll destroy you in court. Good luck. Tom, want to show them what you found in Margaret's house? Tom pulled out his phone. The suitcases already packed? The fake passports? The custody papers she had drawn up claiming we were all unfit parents? Margaret lunged for the phone. 2 security guards grabbed her arms. This isn't over. I watched them escort her out, feeling strangely calm. You're right. It's just beginning. The courtroom fell silent as the judge reviewed my evidence. Margaret sat stone-faced while her lawyer squirmed. Your Honor, my client was merely acting out of concern. Concern doesn't explain forged documents and planned international travel without parental consent. The evidence of long-term psychological manipulation is particularly troubling. 6 months of court battles led to this moment. Dr. Peterson testified about the impact on the children. Tom revealed decades of Margaret's manipulation. Even James finally saw the truth after Margaret harassed my office so much I lost a promotion. The court grants primary custody to Charlotte Wilson. Margaret Stevens is hereby ordered to maintain a distance of no less than 500 feet from the children and their mother. This is outrageous! Those are my grandchildren! Mrs. Stevens, one more outburst and you'll be held in contempt. Additionally, the harassment charges stand. You'll serve 6 months under house arrest. Outside the courthouse, James tried to approach. Charlotte, please, I didn't know. You knew. You just didn't care enough to stop it. Can we try counseling? Like when I begged you to go last year? No thanks. Your custody visits will be supervised until you complete therapy. What about the kids? They're in counseling too, dealing with the damage your mother caused. Emma still has nightmares. Mom's getting help. After stalking my workplace? Sending threatening letters? Trying to turn my own neighbors against me? Too little, too late. Rachel hosted a neighborhood gathering where Margaret's true colors were finally exposed. Her carefully crafted image of the perfect grandmother crumbled as people learned about the attempted kidnapping. She seemed so sweet. Appearances can be deceiving, Tom told them. I enabled her behavior for years, not anymore. 2 months into therapy, Emma finally opened up. Grandma said if I told you about the mean things, she wouldn't love me anymore. Your feelings are more important than Grandma's threats. No one should make you keep secrets. Daddy says she's sick. Sometimes people we love make bad choices, but that's not your fault. Noah adjusted faster, too young to fully grasp the manipulation. But Emma needed more time. Dr. Peterson helped us establish new, healthy boundaries. Remember, you control who gets to be part of your life. The divorce finalized quickly. James moved in with his new girlfriend, his visits becoming less frequent. Tom remained a steady presence, determined to break the cycle. I watched Margaret destroy too many relationships. Never again. 1 year later, I passed Margaret at the grocery store. She'd lost her social standing, her friends, her power. She looked smaller somehow. Charlotte. I kept walking. The kids were waiting at home. We had pizza and movie night planned. Real family time, no manipulation required. How's Emma's art class going? Sarah asked during our weekly dinner. She's teaching Noah to paint. They're making a mess and loving every minute. You did it, sis. You got your kids back. I smiled, watching them chase each other through the house. Free, happy, and finally safe from toxic love. What would you have done if you discovered your mother-in-law had secretly booked one-way tickets to take your children away? Would you press charges immediately, or try to handle it within the family first? Share your thoughts in the comments. Remember, family manipulation often starts small. A crossed boundary here, an undermining comment there. Have you noticed similar red flags in your own life? If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more real-life family drama stories. Your experience might help others recognize toxic behavior before it escalates.